Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Slant 3D podcast. Today, we're going to talk about how an 18-year-old can make $300,000 per month selling items on TikTok. And then we're going to finish up with talking with one of the founders of STL Flix to learn how 3D models get sold and traded and moved and protected. But before that, let's go ahead and pay the bills. This episode is brought to you by Teleport. Have you ever wanted 1,000 3D printers on tap? It's during the Christmas season. You might want to spend time with your family. You might want to actually not be changing out nozzles or refilling machines or packing boxes. You might just want to plug into something and have the items printed and shipped straight to your customers for you. That's what Teleport can do. All you have to do is upload a 3D model, connect it into your Etsy store or your Shopify or your TikTok shop. And as soon as you get an order, we will print out the file that you gave us and ship it straight to your customer for you. So now you can focus on design and customer support without having to worry about packing boxes and making sure your printers keep running. It's our job to find the latest and greatest, and our job to change the spools at 2 a.m. so that you don't have to. So check out Teleport over at slantpod.com. That's slantpod.com. All right, moving in the first piece of news. Per 3dprint.com. An 18-year-old entrepreneur built a $300,000 a month business 3D printing can holders. Michael Satterley, the founder behind Cruise Cup, a fast-growing online brand selling 3D printed beverage accessories, recently revealed that his company generated around $300,000 in revenue in a single month, mostly thanks to a couple of videos that went viral on Instagram and TikTok with close to 1 million views. The story, first reported by Business Insider, highlights how Satterley used 3D printers not only for prototyping but also full-scale production, relying on speed, iteration, and direct-to-consumer sales rather than traditional manufacturing. So this is actually a really good story because Mike Satterley, he's an 18-year-old kid who's active on TikTok, and he made a tube that you bottom load 2 Coke cans into, and when you're done with the can on top, you shove another one in underneath and the new one pops up to the top. It's a really great, really demonstrable item for TikTok. And here's the thing. The title's a little bit misleading because $300,000 per month sounds like it's every month. But he announced that they had hit $300,000 in a month. This last month was November. November is the top selling month of the year. I have no doubt that he hit $300,000 in that single month. That's very expected. Given the type of item that they have and how demonstrable it is. So the Cruise Cup, I recommend going out and checking out his store because it's a great example of both marketing and presentation of a 3D printed item. They don't shy away from it. They just say what it is. And they don't try to hide it or apologize for it. It's a 3D printed thing. It's fine. It's a fantastic product. Very demonstrable, really good margins on it, and good for him. More power to him. The fact that he got that done. But this just reinforces, we were talking on the Reddit a couple other days and asking what people wanted to see. And a lot of people were like, we keep on getting the generic advice of create a bunch of listings and make TikToks. But what about other things? And I'm like, those are the things that are free and that work. TikTok is so valuable right now to sell on. It's a good idea to not do anything else. If you're not comfortable making videos and creating an item that looks good on video, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So just get used to the idea. But there's just example after example of stuff like this that just makes a lot of sense. And once you get rolling on TikTok, it can be really useful. TikTok's so helpful. And then if you make a lot of sales, TikTok will reach out to you and give you a customer support rep who will help you scale up more and get items into inventory, all this kind of stuff. Alrighty, let's see here. Next piece of news. This one is per Fabaloo. Automated 3D print farm achieves China-level costs, raising new questions. So there was a video that was going around, a demo video from DHR Automation. And they have a robot arm that's tending about 40 Bamboo Lab machines for what appears to be Koobs, which is a shoe-making company similar to Zellerfeld. Carrie had a discussion about this brought back the cost down over here in the US, but didn't bring back jobs. And that's true, but that's outside of the discussion. I care about the print farm. We've messed with this before. So everybody knows, we run a giant print farm. We've put robots in the farm before, and we've always decided against robots on rails because it's not very scalable or modifiable. Admittedly, in the amortization of cost, it's not that big of a deal, but print farms are evolving so quickly still that putting in a piece of infrastructure like a robot arm that runs down the aisle just doesn't work. So we use AGVs, automated ground vehicles, with robot arms mounted on them to go pick the parts from the beds. But even then, again, since the print farm has evolved so quickly, the mapping and the intelligence of those bots doesn't keep up with the format change as it gets bigger. So you have to have a lot of consistent, continuous utilization to make it worth it. If you look at facilities like Zellerfeld, they have people manually picking, and we use people manually picking quite a bit still too. The reason for it is it's just really flexible, really reliable, and the picking of the part is not actually one of the main jobs of someone going through a print farm, but it is doing checks and evaluation of the parts on the machines. And while that can be done with a webcam on the machine itself, it doesn't always, it's not always reliable. It doesn't always see what it needs to, and you still need like human intervention because manufacturing with 3D printing just is very nuanced and there's not enough data out there to build it out well. So there's all of that stuff. Okay, but there's that piece of news. Yeah, DHR, apparently Koobs has propped up in the last 2 years. They raised a bunch of money very recently, I think about $10 million to do a seed round. They're effectively operating as a competitor to Zellerfeld. They're probably going to end up being kind of a lower cost. The 3D printed shoe market is fantastic and a really good spot to be because 3D printed shoes could be a really good option. My prediction is that the 3D printed shoes will scale up for a while, do really well, and then drop down to kind of like just a means of making the shoes that, again, commoditizes, but there will be post-processing afterwards where you input like insoles or laces and additional componentry to get them where you need them to be. But the innovation that's happening in shoes and the stylistic preferences of today are really, really good. It's really fascinating that like Zellerfeld, if you look at their shoes, many of them are very Gen Z. Not just because they're emblematic of the current fashion interests, but because the current fashion interests work really well for what FDM printed shoes can make. So it's a great synergy and a great piece of like luck that people would say. But Zellerfeld, Cornelius has been working on Zellerfeld since 2018. We worked with him in the early days. But we're going to get him on the podcast. If you run into Zellerfeld somewhere, tell him, come on by. We need to talk to him. But yeah, so that's that. Okay, moving on to company updates. Right now, let's go ahead and talk about Teleport, updates inside of Teleport. The big ones that have come up is that Teleport, we've done some refinements around payment processing. Here very soon, rather than having each individual item billed as orders come through, we'll broadly deploy daily billing instead, and that reduces kind of the load on credit cards and works quite well. So the Teleport payment system will be updated a little bit. There is a facelift coming to Teleport, so there will be not a full UI redesign, but almost a full UI redesign. We are in a perpetual battle to make Teleport easier and easier to use, and also cleaner to use. There's a lot of reformatting that we've done. We've made it stylistically more kind of slant. It's a little bit brutalist, but it looks really good. And Teleport is turning increasingly into a professional tool. So like the major users of Teleport are moving thousands of parts through it. So we want to make sure that we're helping out kind of those enterprise folks. I shouldn't say enterprise. They're still small businesses. They just make a bunch of cookie cutters and that kind of thing. But it'll also make it easier for people to work on it. Portals will pretty much stay the same and will continue to be free. Teleport itself, fair warning to everyone out there, 2 things will be changing around pricing on Teleport. There will be a pricing algorithm update in the spring, which should generally make everything cheaper. But anybody who's a bad actor who has like 200 parts on a single print bed or something like that, it's probably going to get more expensive for you. That's mainly what that does. Anybody else who is doing like multi-part orders and items, you should see a reduction in costs. People doing larger items should see a reduction in cost. Alrighty, let's see here. Portals updates. Not a lot of updates on Portals. Portals is cranking along. Everybody's using it. A lot of people uploading Portals. But yeah, Portals is being used by a lot of like influencers and YouTubers and that kind of thing who are looking to create awesome items. Okay, that's pretty much that. How long have we been rolling? Sweet. Wow, this is going to be a fast podcast, but that's okay. The last podcast was 2 hours, so this one could probably be a tad shorter this week. In addition to teleport and portals, we have been building a ton of tools for people. We have a 3D print cost calculator. You can check that out over on Slant Pod, and it's at 3dprintpricecalculator.com. It talks about depreciation. It has shipping estimation. It has platform fees and costs. All the things that are really more expensive than the actual print itself, but people don't really recognize, are in that calculator. We have a QR code generator that you can use for like sharing your portals around. We have made a SKU generator. So if you're not familiar with SKU numbers, you can generate like 50 or 100 of them over there on the SKU generator. We've made a number of GPTs that will generate photos for you. One that we've turned loose will take any image and turn it into a cookie cutter outline for you. And another one will take a shot of a cookie cutter and create photography for you for a cookie cutter store. And we'll continue building out those kind of photography apps for people. So those will be really useful. Let's see here. Tangled is Tangled. Tangled is $10 per spool per kilogram over at tangledfilament.com. And you can buy gray or you can buy black. There'll be probably this week, non-member filament may drop to $10. Well, may drop to $11 per kilogram. But you will still have shipping costs on it. And if you don't want shipping costs, you can go get a membership. The membership, saves you shipping, guys, and gets you cheaper filament because we know that you need it. So it kind of pays for our inventory costs having members there. We also have a gadget that may be turning loose on Tangled here in the nearest future, which I'm excited to share when it comes available, but not before. All right. That's that. That's company updates. So yes, Teleport getting a facelift, and we'll be getting an algorithm update. Portal's cranking right along. Whole bunch of tools coming loose, digital tools that will be free to everybody. Anybody can get a hold of them. You can find them over on the subreddit at 3D Print Entrepreneurs. And then, Tangled, you got $10 filament. Gray and black. Not just black anymore. We added in gray. So you can get that over there, and it's always $10 and never on sale. So, perfect. All right, let's take a look at some questions that we got over here. Okay, anybody in chat who has questions, bring them up. Whacker guy, what's the best way to get consistent jobs? If you're running a 3D print service, you need a Google Maps listing. You need your address on Google Maps. So if somebody says print service near me, you pop up. You need, don't worry about the website. You need one page on the website and a quick, easy way for people to contact you, preferably a way for people to give you files. Which reminds me, I need to make another app for 3D print service bureaus who want to start up, who just want to get a file. Get files to print.com. And you can sign up and you'll get a portal so people can upload files to you. Let's see here. The other way to get consistent jobs is you got to call people. Create a particular type of product that just needs modified, and then contact the people who want it. So make a tire business card holder and go to all the tire shops in your town and say, do you want one of these? That's a way to get consistent jobs. But build something that wears out over time. You can go down to the local factory and say, hey, I can design tooling and jigs for you guys. What do you need? That kind of stuff. All right. Jig. Okay. All right. Calf Moose. Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, got one of these. Do you guys do assembly of parts before shipping out? We do not. The reason being is every single product needs a different assembly process. So in order to do assembly for you, there's like a minimum volume required. So you would have to move like 1,000 parts per month through us for us to do custom assembly so that we can train someone and set them up in a station and make sure that every one of your parts is put together correctly and well. If you don't have that minimum volume, then you're going through the normal process and assembly just isn't really valuable. So it's a really tough manufacturing challenge to do assembly, but you can include things like light pucks, magnets, those types of things. And then with a custom insert card inside a teleport, you can add instructions for how to assemble it, and then the customer can run through it. And they can like scan a QR code to watch a video of how to stick it together. And you get kind of this IKEA effect where the customers love your product more because they got to put it together themselves. Ability to create a second portals. Created the modern machine store, but I want to separate it from my current portals. Almost most of the stuff is too big for the 220 by 220. Okay, so to create a second portals, Cassie, the thing I would recommend is just create another Gmail. Gmails are free, and you can sign in and create another portals account on that. That's the simplest way to do that if you're creating a wholly separate store. And that also keeps them protected in case one store has an issue with it or the sun goes out or something like that. You have a backup. So I would recommend just going and getting a Gmail in like 2 minutes and setting up a second store there. That's the best thing to do. As for the stuff not fitting on 220 by 220, that's fair. I think this is okay. A lot more of his stuff does than you might think. Like Modern Machines has a decent number of things that'll fit. But what you can do is you can download or design a negative for the light that goes through it, because most of his things are like pendant lights to where you just need to shove the cylinder through. So just cut a hole, scale it down a little bit and cut a bigger hole in that scaled down version and it'll work just fine. That's what I would recommend generally. Question, which engineering filament do you find most exciting currently? I don't know. I'm not really interested in the new filaments very much, and I know that's like a terrible answer. There's so much value in doing simple stuff with filament right now. Like just scaling up production or adding a few little glass beads to it or doing this other really simple stuff to where I just don't know. I don't need it to be stronger. 3D prints don't need to be stronger. They are strong enough. So we just need the supply to be reliable, consistent, and affordable. So I would like 3D materials to get lower. So going back to Tangled, like when we started Tangled, our job, the goal with that was to make filament cost $10 per spool. And I'm very pleased to see that there are a lot of filament manufacturers who now have to match that. We do it at 3 spools in a box, whereas they're all doing it with like 10 spools in a box. But that's neither here nor there. The value of it is just the fact that we put that pressure on everybody and got other people to come down lower. Now we got to go even lower because filament should cost like $5 per kilogram. That's aspirationally what we would love to get to. I don't know if you can do that at retail because that's effectively the manufacturing cost for things like PLA, which is just really expensive. So we're going to do other things. I need to have listings for clients only. Is there a way to not show all your portals on the storefront? Yes. You can make your storefront findable by link only, which you can set in your store settings over there on the side. I don't know if you can set individual portals, but if you have like private ones, I would go back to kind of like the second Gmail thing where you just set up a separate portals account that's public and one that's not public, and that's the way you can do it. If you're doing fully custom items for clients, we're gonna have a prototyper come out pretty soon that might be a better option to where you can just upload a file and do it. Because if you're doing fully custom for each client, I would think if the client is like a company who wants to like buy merch from you on a recurring basis, I would say create a portals for that client. If it's an intermittent one-off and you're like ordering from portals like 1 or 2, you might want to just use a prototyper. I've tried looking, but is teleport another option good for fallback capacity? I've got my own printers, but I want to handle demand spikes, shipping parts to me for assembly packaging. It's totally a thing you can do, and a lot of people do that, where they run their own print farms, and then when they need extra, they use teleport. The way to do this is you can set up teleport normally, but you can set certain items for manual approval. So when an order comes by, it'll pop up and say, like, here's the file that you want to print. Do you want us to print it? And then you can run through and just like send a few through to us, and we'll print them and ship them to you. Or literally, you can go into if you're ordering them for yourself, you can go into teleport to the prototyper, which is a little light bulb over on the side, and you click on that light bulb, and it'll open up the prototyper. You pick your files that you want and say, I need 10 of these and 10 of these and 10 of these. Ship them to this address, which is your address, and you get a little small batch of parts delivered to you. So that's a great way of doing it too, if it's just for you. But if you want items sent to customers, you can do that manual approval. You set that in settings. It is manual fulfillment or automatic fulfillment, and you toggle that back and forth. If it's automatic, we print and ship automatically. If it's manual, you have to click a button to say approval, and we ship it through for you. Okay. What prototype do you have with prototype, do you have an invoice in the package? You would have an invoice on your teleport account. You'd have a packing list inside the package. But yeah, you would have a record of it inside the teleport account. It would show up in orders, and then if you opened up invoice inside your account, you would see the history there. Are they searchable on Google? No. Private portals are not searchable on Google. What would be nice? That could be nice to have the choice of invoice or not, thank you card or not. Oh, if you're using portals, Christian, if you're using portals regularly, a packing list is always included because it has to be. But if you want like a thank you card or something, you can use a custom insert card that you can set up during matching, or you can set for your account. And then it'll say, thank you, Jerry's store, Christian's store. Thank you so much for the order. And that will print off and go inside the box with you too. So that's available. I asked Jenny this, and she said it wasn't possible yet, but wanted to bring it up here. I wanted to add thank you card to all my current matches, but there wasn't a way to select them all. Cassie, that's the thing. Yeah, you'll should be able to, in your account, set an insert thank you card that's across the board. But yes, you can also go through and update individual matches. The reason you can update individual matches is some people use instruction cards. But yes, there should be a universal update inside of there. If not, it's showing up any day. But it should be in there, basically, since we launched insert cards. Jenny is a rock star. Yeah, Jenny's awesome. Isn't Jenny awesome? Funny thing, Jenny's been doing a really good job. But what we've done is we're making an AI Jenny. And I know that sounds bad, but it's not. We're trying to take some load off of Jenny. So all the emails that Jenny has sent over like the last 3 or 4 months, we have fed into a GPT, and we're going to give that as a GPT so that it talks like Jenny and has the same answers and same information, but can also reference the website. And what we're going to do with that is just take some load off of Jenny. And Jenny will help with like really detailed problems, but other people who are asking like, does teleport have blue in it? And I'm like, yes, teleport has blue in it. It'll save her having to write the message, and that chatbot will be out where everybody can get a hold of it to get like basic info without having to browse the website. Because even though everybody's like, oh no, I don't want to talk to chatbot, everybody talks to the chatbot and asks a lot of questions. So they're all like, no, I hate AI. But where is this? I'm like, well, you could go to the non-AI website and browse around, or Jenny can answer it for you. But we're trying to take some load off Jenny because she's getting worked really hard. And she's very happy about it and has a really good attitude, but we're going to make AI Jenny. So AI Jenny will be coming out and will be available for everybody. We are going to call it AI Jenny. What's funny, though, is like we've been doing this with Jenny, and Jenny's probably going to start signing her emails like human Jenny, just so you know when somebody wrote it. There's kind of been the joke going around of like, okay, since you're replacing me, I'm just going to go ahead and sign human Jenny so everybody knows it's me, and if it ever changes, then it'll be that. And I'm like, well, got to replace you, Jenny. We'll just go ahead and have the AI write human Jenny. Nobody will ever know. But no, yeah, Jenny's a rock star. The whole customer support team is. We got a few people over there. Leo works on customer support too, and he does a really great job too. When I use a PETG interface for support and easier but having issues of the PR separation layer by layer, how do I improve? Don't have a lot of help on that, man. If you're doing the separate material separation, I generally don't recommend that. If you need the separate material spreading, I would say tune print settings differently there, because the multi-material support split, we've done that for years. Like, we used to have machines that would print a PETG layer and then do PLA in order to have reduced warp, and then do ABS in order to have reduced warp. But like, it just wasn't very useful. Alrighty, that's questions. Alrighty then, that's going to cover up normal recorded part of the podcast. We have on for the interview this week one of the co-founders of STL Flix, and we had a really great conversation around protection of models and the creation of models, and how it's different depending on what you're doing. Because we've worked with them in the past and have tried to do some collaborations of different types historically. But we've always had kind of like this different target, because STL Flix makes models that sellers can license and then go sell, as compared to like us, who are mass producing printed parts. So we have different expectations for models than like what they're shooting for. So it was a really good conversation. Please enjoy. And I'll see you next week. Have a great day, everybody. But good. So the subscriptions are going good. How long? It's been 3 weeks since the release of that whole thing?
It was more than that. We had like a month of launch sale, and that is ended already. So now we're not with the big lifetime plan that we did. Now it's just annual and monthly plans available.
Nice. Very nice.
But I guess I don't remember exactly which date it was. I think it was like the 23rd.
That sounds about
like
right.
The beginning of August. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds about right when we last spoke there. Well, fantastic. Yeah. Good, man. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, it's a difficult product because we need to like get all the software right and the UI right, and it's AI sometimes. It hallucinates, so it's a lot of work to make it work.
All the joys of that stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Have you guys run into well, there's of course all the problems, but hold on, let me readjust one thing. Has everybody been interacting with it on the regular? Are you getting good daily active users and that kind of stuff? Or are people kind of trying it out and then fading away and that sort of problem?
We are, but because we have a different approach, and this is, I think, it's the trick on our side. Like, we have the same way of working as we do at STLFlix. So we launch new configurators every week. So we always like have something for the person to come back, which has always been my take on how I think AI should work, because I think the open canvas is really good for the naturally creative people, but that's not the case for the majority of the people. So if you're like, once ChatGPT had the Ghibli thing, a lot of people went in and did it. So that was the thing that we wanted to replicate. We were like constantly pushing new Ghibli-like things for the people to make. And this is why I think it's a little bit different what we are doing than what the most AI companies are doing.
That's for sure. Okay, that's fair. Well, good.
But yeah, I've read that too. That a lot of people, they have a spike in the beginning because of the AI hype, and then they don't have the regular users. But no, we're having people purchasing more credits. We're having people using.
Fantastic.
And like, one of the things that we want to make is, like, you can see some of the magnets that we have in here. So it's also like a tool for the people from people that print for profit to offer like a really cool service of customization. For these guys, they will always have to go back and make a specific one for their own customers as well.
We're going to start, I was talking to the team about these the other day, but we're going to start promoting your guys' configurators a bit for portals. Because exactly what you just said before, of like, for the naturally creative, they can work with any tool with a broad open canvas. But these configurators are great if people are like, what are 10 things that I can just start selling or something right now? And it's like, cool, there's the baseline to get rolling with. So we think that's really great for portals users who just want to get a hold of a model that's original that they can kind of have their stamp on and roll from there. So it's a great tool in that direction.
And they sell really well as well. Which
really? You getting good feedback on that?
No, I mean, if you look at the most sold items on Etsy, the majority of them are things like that. So this is where I am basing my opinion.
Specific for me.
Yeah, not specifically about these, right? I haven't had any feedback yet, but we have had people purchasing more credits, which I believe is someone, and I've seen listings of our products on Etsy already. So
Nice.
I think people are using it the way we imagine they would use it.
Good deal. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Are there any topics that you want to go over here on once we really get rolling? Is there something that you want to hit on? Obviously, there's configurators. I want to talk about how you guys kind of got STL Flix started up and that kind of thing. But are there other spots that you think?
That's a good story because we have like a similar background. I've also had like a 3D printing farm.
Okay.
But I haven't thought about anything specifically. Like it would be good if we could talk about the AI, which is the new product. There's one thing that if you are up to, I think we can talk about. But I can just like throw it in at a random point because I did this pricing calculator that is free. And it's a way to capture leads, obviously, for us. But it is a very cool pricing calculator that is online and it's free. And you just submit your email and then you're able to like use it as you want it. And
nice.
if you want, we could like put the link in the description of the podcast as well. I don't know. It could be
I don't know if we'll
a
be able
way
to
for
do
me
that.
to bring more people as well to that.
You get like one or two plugs. We'll probably just put a link to the AI ones, but having the AI and the pricing calculator and everything else is a bunch. However,
I could just put like we have like this link tree that has a lot of links inside. We could do that as well if you want.
that'd probably
Or
be
you think
fine.
it's best?
If you want to,
Better.
just so you guys are aware, we run the 3D Printing Entrepreneurs subreddit. If you guys want to share like the either the link tree or the pricing calculator over there, those generally get really good reactions. So yeah, absolutely.
What do you have? Sorry, I didn't understand what it is.
A subreddit.
You have a subreddit for
yes,
for
this
3D printing entrepreneurs.
Yes,
That's
it's
awesome.
our 3D print entrepreneurs. Yeah, there's about 5,000 people over there, so
That's
it's a
awesome,
good
man.
spot
That's
to
so
go.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, if you guys want to share the link over there, that'd be a great spot to do it. People really enjoy the calculators.
You're going
and
to
that kind of
post the
thing.
podcast over there.
The podcast will be posted on the core YouTube channel. Probably, we don't have there's a number of these interviews in the can. We've got about 10 or 15 of them right now. This one, a lot of them are going to come out in like November, December-ish, or maybe late
right.
October. So there's going to be quite a lag time between when we have this conversation and when the world sees it.
I guess we
But,
can just let it flow, and then whatever feels right in the end, we share the links.
That's fair. But yeah, of course we'll have all that stuff included when it goes by. Okay, fair enough then. Anything else?
No, I think I'm good to go. What do you think about
Cool.
the framing? Do you think it's good?
You look
Your
fine.
scenario is awesome. Mine is not that awesome.
Even ours is not amazing. Like we've still been adjusting it and that kind of stuff, trying to figure out things. But for the podcast,
On
it's a
YouTube,
podcast.
it looks awesome.
Oh well,
YouTube
thank
videos.
you. I appreciate it. Well, that's technically over from this camera. These podcasts have started moving over here to this camera, so it's we're getting adjusted because of all the technicalities of it. But we think about it like the point of this show is for anybody who's interested or around the business or around the people inside of the industry, that there's a chance to see you guys talking about it, and also to get kind of in-depth information that generally wouldn't come out because I know what questions to ask, whereas like a journalist or a more general interviewer wouldn't know. So it's about what we're talking about. It's not about the presentation of it all. So
that's awesome.
don't beat yourself up about it. Yeah, your stuff looks great.
And if you want to talk about like the business side of STLFlix, I'm all okay with that as well. Like if you think
Oh,
that would be
sweet.
interesting for your audience.
How deep? I would love to. How deep are we able to go?
Well, if I don't want to answer something, can I just say I'm not going to answer that?
That you can absolutely say that. We'll cut it out. That's totally fine.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, don't worry about that at all.
But I don't think there would
I
be anything that I wouldn't be willing to answer. Let's see. I don't know what you could answer or what you could ask me, but I don't know. There's always something.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we might run into something. Generally, it's pretty organic. I'll let it go wherever it leads to. I don't have a list of questions or anything necessarily. There's kind of the general motif of I want to go through your guys' origin, and then we'll probably end up talking about AI and 3D models. But then I don't. When we get to like AI and 3D models, I don't want to talk about the philosophy of it. I don't want to talk about artists or design or anything else. I want to talk about like how is this a tool that's useful and that kind of thing. So,
Okay, awesome.
again, the people who watch this show are looking for functional action sort of items of what they should be doing and what are tools that are available. So that's how we want to talk about it.
Okay.
But cool. Well, I'll put a marker here for this then, and we'll just get rolling. There we are. There's an audio stick for everybody. Well, thanks, Bruno, so much for coming on. It's really great that we get to do this here finally.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. It's very cool to be here. I'm a huge fan of your content. I've already told you that
Thank you.
off the record, but now in the record as well. I think you're a very good. I think you're the style of content you do is really cool, and talking about entrepreneurship and 3D printing. I think that's very cool.
Stop buttering me up before the interview. But thank you. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, we met. It's been about 4 or 6 weeks since we first met there or so, and then had a conversation with you and your guys and the rest of the team there, and it was fun, and I liked what you guys were doing, so I wanted to have you on the show. But yeah. So for the folks who don't know, we gave a little bit of background before already, but you're one of the co-founders of STL Flix. Can you go through the founding story of how you guys got started?
Yeah, I'll go through the founding story. It's actually I like this story a lot because it's a lot about like my own personal story for the last 5 years. So I'm an industrial designer, and I always loved 3D printing ever since college because it was like when 3D printers were starting to come out, like the documentary on Netflix and the first Ultimakers, the first maker bots. And in Brazil, the reality was a little bit different. There were like people doing these reps, which are open source projects, but they were like industrializing the project a little bit. This is how it kind of started here. And I got one of the very first, and it was like a terrible, terrible, terrible printer. Very hard to use. It would clog all the time. The filament was 3 millimeters wide instead of 1.75, which was the standard back then. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, it still is for a couple of those machines. Ultimaker's still holding on.
Yeah, but it's
yeah.
very rare to the
Yes.
the modern day printers.
Yeah.
And then like I kept having 3D printers with me as I was progressing through my professional life. I went to work for an industry, a home appliance company that is an American home appliance company, by the way. So I was working in the Brazilian. It's a Whirlpool. I've been to St. Joseph and Chicago multiple times because of Whirlpool.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really good. I really, really liked working for that because the home appliance industry is an interesting industry. It talks a lot about the homes of the people and like habits. So it's cool to study all that and design the products in the end of the day.
I
always had like a
consumer product design is a little bit weird. When you were designing those sorts of, were there types of appliances that you were working on at that time? Was it microwaves or the dishwashers?
Super focused on refrigerators, like mostly refrigerators. Yeah, because the industrial design team, it's kind of separated into categories. Like we have like these they call the experience brand language, which like Whirlpool has like several different brands, and then you have to respect the brand language of each one of the brands when you are designing for that specific brand. But we're divided into categories within that, so it's a very complex business in the end of the day.
How much input did the design team have on were you guys one of the design teams who had to kind of wrap the thing after the engineers are like, oh, here's the refrigerator, or were you guys kind of led of like, here's the refrigerator that we want to make, this is the experience that we want to create, and then it went backwards from there?
That was one of the things that I really, really liked about it, because the way Whirlpool grew as a company was by purchasing other companies around the world, right? That's why they have so many different brands. And so the main differentiator when you look and you compare like to LG, Samsung, and all that they have the same brand across the board, is that they like have these regional offices that understand culture and habits. So a lot of the design process was about like visiting people, understanding the habits, what do people put in their fridges. Like in China, for instance, they have like 40, 60 eggs inside a refrigerator. So the refrigerator needs to be designed to kind of reflect the habit of the people. So it's not like you could like wrap something around and then call it the product. You really needed to study and understand the habit, the person, where is this thing going to be placed, because there is some level of style and design within different regions as well. So it was very interesting. It was very interesting. Obviously, it was like this big battle between engineering, marketing, and industrial design, which I guess in the majority of the cases is. And the industrial design is always the little brother. So we're trying to get inside the argument of the two big brothers. And Whirlpool was kind of like that. People might be angry at me by saying it, but it was how it was.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it was interesting. It was a cool job. Very cool job.
That'd be really nifty to mess around with. Like, the industrial design side of it all. Like you say, it's the little brother, so a lot of people don't recognize it inside of companies very often because it gets absorbed by marketing or engineering. But industrial design is such an interesting discipline because it's such a cohesion of those two disciplines. Of like, okay, how do we make this still function, but also make it comfortable and nice for people to be around? And the engineers are like, you're just wrapping it and painting it a color, and marketing people are just like,
it doesn't cut down the cost by 30%. Like, how are you going to take it off? The trays.
Exactly. So it's a really tough job, but it's so important because people don't, especially engineers, do not recognize the value of an object that is comfortable to be around and just makes a person kind of happy as opposed to just doing the task. By just having it sit
and the
there.
life cycle of appliances is very big as well. It's like you have the same refrigerator for like 8 years, 10 years.
Yes.
So it's a little bit more timeless. It's less driven by hype. So it's a product that needs to be better thought out.
Yes. Ooh, that's an interesting point.
Yeah.
Yeah. A non-consumable that cannot be fashionable. It has to. That
it has
is
to have some level
challenge.
of fashionable to be sold and to fit in people's houses. But it cannot
still be okay 10 years from now. It can't be tacky 5 years from now. So
exactly.
It shouldn't be an orange that a Gen Z would enjoy today. It's got to be still a little bit muted.
Exactly. That's
interesting.
Kind of like how it has to be.
That's fair. Well, how'd you end up getting into STLFlix then? You're working as an industrial designer.
And then I had a 3D printer with me like pretty much the entire time. And then when you work in the industry, like your creative side kind of gets suppressed a little bit because like you need to deliver this on this format. This is how the company does it. And I was designing these little vases, which is this one that I have right here. This was my first big hit. But I had a 3D printer. I'll get into that in a little bit.
Going back to the vase in just a second here. The vase of the little guy, the vase head guy, are you the original designer of those?
I am the original designer. And this is what got me the idea for STLFlix. But I'll get there. I'll get there in a little bit.
Okay.
So I started to design these vases of my own, like in my own house. And I would sell them on my Instagram, on my... Then I enter a few marketplaces that we have here in Brazil, which are similar to eBay, Amazon, Etsy, these kind of things. And they started to sell really well. Then I built the website. Then I actually built a brand. But I was selling the physical product. This is what it was. And it started to got really, really, really big. I got to a point where we had almost 100 printers. We pushed into the U.S. as well. So I had kind of like a franchise in the U.S., someone that would get the designs, print, and sell. Pretty much what we had here, but in the U.S., and we would get royalties out of that sale. And then at one point, like in the beginning of the pandemic, we in Brazil, we have the Big Brother Brazil, the reality TV show. It's the biggest in Brazil, and it's really a huge event. And they've showed the new house of the Big Brother Brazil that it was going to happen, like in December. And that was like it was full of those vases, like full around the entire kitchen area, the entire outdoor area. And it was so awesome. And then right after that, the pandemic broke. So, and then like people were like, I was so curious to see like this group of people they did not know that the world was falling apart outside that house. And there was full of my vases inside the house. People were just watching it because it was like the most insane thing happening. And it started to sell really, really, really well. Like I had a few Facebook ads, it would sell super well. By the time, it was not like a super profitable business. So in order to grow, to be able to keep up with the demand, we had to get some loans to expand the factory. But then by the time that started to happen, a lot of Facebook groups, people started to asking for the STL of that because it got pretty obvious that this was an opportunity, right? Obviously, it was in the Big Brother Brazil. Everybody was talking about it. I was selling really well, so it was getting very popular as well. Then people started to ask for the STL over and over and over. And like I try to fight for a couple of days, like say, hey, this is not a free STL. This is something that we have designed. We have employees in here. We have a business. If you guys go in,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to destroy everything, which
Mm-hmm.
eventually happened. Right? A lot of people they've hired designers to redesign our products. It got into a
Mm-hmm.
point that we were launching something on Friday and the STL was out on Monday. It was crazy. It was crazy. And
Mm-hmm.
then this is when it clicked me. I was like, okay, perhaps this is like a bigger movement that I cannot like go against. Perhaps the real value that I'm bringing to the community is the design. So why not make it into a subscription where I can like offer much cheaper than hiring someone to do it, and I could still offer
Mm.
good designs for people who wanted to print something at home or for people that wanted to do it for profit. And that's when it clicked that perhaps the bigger idea was to actually make it into a subscription that I could have designers working for me, and then the fact that we are on a country that is the cost of labor is cheaper. It could mean that we could have more designers offering very good models for the entire world,
Mm-hmm.
which was the raw idea back then. But there was the I had a
What?
really hard time to understand if this was a possible business because 3D printing itself was small. It's like, is there enough
Yes.
people to sustain the business in order to keep it afloat and pay the designers and all of that? And that's where
When
it kind of started.
when did it start to seem like it was a sustainable business? How long were you into it since STL Flix launched when you were just like, okay, this will work and like we can keep on growing this?
So this was 2021, right? In the
Okay.
middle of the pandemic, like the second season of the pandemic.
Yep.
Uh, and then I was essentially broke because my previous brand was going really, really bad. The sales were not there anymore. We had the low ones, which
Did you
we,
guys get
we
hit by the Facebook ads debacle at that point too?
We did.
Was that
We
part of
did. But
Yeah.
because I never understood if it was a matter of our product getting too popular and then like the product was more popular than the brand, then why would you purchase from that guy? It doesn't even matter.
Gotcha.
Uh, or if it was like the actual inflation of the Facebook ads itself.
Okay.
But the fact is that we were not able to like have ads performing that well anymore. Like
Right.
the majority of the e-commerces. My business partner that you met, Lincoln, also kind of had this challenge in his business, but his business was much more profitable than mine was. Um, and then I've told him because he's very good with marketing, with digital marketing and all of that. So I decided that perhaps it was with him that it would be the best. He would be the best partner for this business specifically. Then we since we both had previous backgrounds in different businesses, we thought that the best idea would be if we could get like an angel investor to invest in that initial stage. So we kind of put together the pitch. We got the initial investment. That was in
Nice.
like September, October 2021. And then we
Okay.
only launched it on April 2022. So for
Oh
that
wow.
period, we're working on having like a good selection of models to like launch with something already, rather than
Mm-hmm.
rather than just putting it out there and seeing how it goes. But we wanted to do it via Kickstarter. But at the middle of
Oh.
the development of the Kickstarter campaign, we saw that Brazil was not listed in one of the possible countries to do a Kickstarter campaign.
That's
So it
hilarious.
was like, oh my
yeah.
god, we only have like a month left of money, and like we cannot do the launch we imagined we could. And then we were like, okay, so what do we do? And then we just like open up. Like I got Kajabi, which is a software that you create communities. I don't know if you're aware of that. It's like
Mhm.
it's a software that you were able to create communities. It's called Kajabi, and they have the payment gateway, all that. So I designed it myself, like in a weekend, how the platform would be, because we wouldn't have the money to develop the platform at all. And then we just uploaded in several different photos. He had no search bar. It was very weird. But then I got into some Discord. I was talking about STLFlix. Hey, this is something that we're launching. We want to be the Netflix of 3D printing. We want to have a variety of different types of content instead, because back in 2022, what we had was like people doing like very specific types of product. Like this guy does flexi. This guy does home accessories. This guy does print in place boxes, which was a thing in 2022.
Clock spring.
Yeah, Clock Spring. He's amazing. He's one of
He's
very
amazing
very
at design.
talented. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, his models are incredible. And then that's what we did. Like we kind of went into the communities and started talking. We started to do a few ads, and it worked really really well. Like the ads worked really
Nice.
well, which
Fantastic.
made us think that this is something. This is a pain. This is something that people really value and appreciate. And it kind of started to grow. We were not break even anymore, but it got us more runway.
When did you get to break even?
Then eventually, that same year, we got a second round. At like in, I guess it was like around this time, like September, August. And then on the 1st November, we did the Black Friday. With that, we did the first time the longer plans. And this is where we got break even. So we got break even really, really early. And we were the weirdos for VCs. People did not see, people still don't see our business as something that VCs would be interested in doing. Even though, like right now, we talked to one VC, like, I think it was like 1 year ago or 1.5 years ago. And he said, I've never seen data like you have. But still, like for some reason, it
What
needs
did he
to be
mean
on
by
the
that?
hype to be appealing for a VC.
What did he mean by that when he said he's never seen data like yours before? What?
No, traction
what was
numbers, revenue, ROI. Because as I told you, we've been profitable like less than a year later. The project was on paper, not even like the product was out. And we always, because we are e-commerce guys before being platform guys, so we always been very very cash flow oriented. Because in e-commerce, and you know that really well. Like you have to be cash flow oriented, otherwise you will go bankrupt really quick.
Yes.
Like if someone watching us, if you have your printing farm, you gotta be really really aware of your costs, of your inventory, because it's easy to get on debt with a factory. Even a 3D printing farm is a factory in the end of the day. So like, you gotta pay attention to that.
Well, yeah, and as it gets bigger and that kind of stuff, that becomes a larger sort of a risk because you're moving so large sums slowly through the system. It's like inventory in 60 days, and then you start producing, and then the parts are delivered, and then you finally get paid. And that's the kind of lead times you're dealing with to where cash flow can become an issue because there's still payroll all the way through there, and there's still all the other operations all the way through there. So yes, it can be really dangerous.
And in the digital space side, like you have to, you're not going to make a profit out of the first month. Like you need that person to stay in for a little bit until like your investment.
All the joys of a subscription business.
Yeah.
Yep.
There are different challenges in the end of the day, but it's there are still challenges.
So so the investors were impressed by the amount of ROI you guys were getting for a non-standard product. But you guys are effectively a content
At the point,
platform.
we were not raising anymore. Like when we talked, like
That's fair.
with this VC fund specifically that I talked to you about, we were not raising. Like, but whenever someone say, "Hey, I think it's a good practice if you have a business and if there is an investor that would like to see your numbers," we always like to show. Even though, do you have any plans for a seeding round? No, we don't currently. But if we ever do, we have all doors open. So it's important to have it available.
Oh yeah, you maintain the conversation all the time so that when you see the opportunity, you have people standing by her. Like I know these guys already. I've seen their books for the last 2 years. It's fine. Let's just roll.
Yeah.
And then it's a very quick and easy decision. Interesting. So when going back to again like the initial launch of it all, so you were promoting the very first promotions, or what was like the marketing plan when you first were launching it? You were shooting for the Kickstarter, but then did you go Facebook ads and organic on Discord, or like walk me through the launch marketing plan?
So the launch marketing plan, it was like very not a plan because our plan failed, and then we were like, okay, let's just put it out there. So I did the website real quickly, the Kajabi website, which was already like subscription and all of that. We started to put the models in cults because it also gave us like a little bit of revenue. And cults was a good tool at the start as well to promote because we would put the products out there, and then I would like personally write to every someone that purchases and say, hey, I'm glad you purchased this, but if you want, we have the subscription which has many more STLs. It would be much cheaper per STL than buying them individually. Um, and then I've also did like this on a few discords. I would like go in and post about STLFlix. Hey, this is something that we are building. Like trying to get feedback, ideas, and also like a few of these initial customers. And then like it was we were like Lincoln was not being paid at all. Like I was being paid like very little because I had no money left at this point. And we had 3 artists, and that was a team. I would edit the ads and all of that, and then
When you
I
say the
started to
ads, where
record
were
a
the
few
ads
ads.
going? Where did the ads
Mostly
go?
on
What was the main?
Facebook.
Okay.
It was meta ads, right? Which I don't
Yep.
even know if they were meta at then, but it was like Facebook ads, Instagram. Like Lincoln
Okay.
was very good operating the. He's not the one that operates our campaigns anymore, but he is very skilled at operating the campaigns. So he was
Nice.
operating the campaigns. We did not do any Google at first. This is something that
Okay.
I also like. I think it's a good choice. Like at the beginning, if you have like small amount of money to invest, I think like the most you should invest is in media. Like if you're going to pay an agency to make the ads for you and then operate these, I think it's too much. Like make the ads yourself, run them yourself, put more money in media, less in the intermediary in the process. Because in the end of the day, that's what it's important, right? If you have a good
Yes.
product, we will be able to come to talk about it and show it. And this is what I did. Like I opened up I got my phone and recorded, and I did a few. Like the one that was that we used a lot. It was like 3 reasons for you to subscribe to STLFlix. Reason number 1, it's an ever-growing library. Reason number 2, you can download anything. And reason number 3, it has a lot of different categories. And that was it. And there was, and then the second one is like STLFlix is the Netflix of 3D printing. And just like Netflix, we have a variety of different content. And that was the initial. It was cheaper as well. It was, I think it was like $9 for the personal, and 13 for the commercial. And the commercial had
for
nothing
the
different
subscription.
than the personal. Yeah, personal plan and commercial plan. It was just like
That's
you
an
have the ability to sell.
Within this, excellent. STL Flix is growing, but like the details of commercial versus personal licensing. How do you guys go about the I'm going to say policing of that? How do you guys keep track that when somebody downloads one of your models, that it doesn't just immediately show up again on Thangs or Cults or wherever else it was, or just shared around as an Etsy digital download or something like that? How do you guys deal with that situation?
So we have a few things we monitor a little bit, like these
Sure.
main marketplaces,
Totally.
especially like these that you named. They're all easy to map. Like, and we have a big team in here, and one of the, like part of the what our design team does is to be on these marketplaces, kind of like searching for cool stuff. So they have very good eyes for spotting the models that are out there. So it's easy to find. And then inside each model, there is the information of who downloaded it. So we ban the users
Nice.
that have leaked the file. So
Nice.
this is how we
Okay.
track. It's a reactive way of doing it. It's not a proactive way of doing it yet. Like we're still
But,
thinking
yeah.
about it. But it's a way that we ban, and we ban really fast. So if someone comes in, and you obviously I think people have found leaked files of STLFlix, and they probably will find, but it's not the most leaked files. And I guess one of the reasons is that it's because we're able to track who's the imposter of our community and take him out.
Yes.
Because in the end of the day,
Oh,
it's
no,
not
sorry.
good for like someone that is paying for the
Yes.
model to have it leaked, right? I get it, the dissatisfaction when that happens.
But like just the general sort of the file theft is just useless in general because people can't make a living with files if they're giving it away for free because they feel okay about it. Like even if they're like kind of the OG 3D printing world, to where it's like I'm going to design this, I'm going to share it on Thingiverse for free. People can get a hold of it, and yeah, people can buy and sell it if they get a hold of it. But who cares? That doesn't work anymore because there's such a huge need for files and good, well-designed files that it's unsustainable. I can't imagine a advertising business model where you guys could exist with totally free files that are just floating around out there and you operate like an ad-supported content platform in some sort of a way. There's almost no way that that's sustainable. in
Yeah,
any
I think
version of
Bamboo
the
is
current world.
trying to do that, but they are
Yeah.
offering the filament credit like as a.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't think it's a good deal. Like honestly, I've
Right.
I've spoken with several different designers that have Patreons, that have thank subscriptions, that have subscriptions of their own.
Hmm.
And like the ones that are serious about their businesses, and it can be a very profitable business, like
Oh yeah.
for the designer.
Yeah.
Um, like they're against it obviously, and I am personally against the culture of offering filament for work. Like you cannot sell your filament
Oh
to pay for your electricity bill. I
yes.
think that's borderline offensive, to be honest. But that's a
Yes.
different topic.
It's it's also
I might
well
not want
it's
to go into it.
you sure you want to go into it?
Okay, okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Let's go into it because, like, when I look at it, I totally understand why they're doing it because they get to distribute the filament at retail value when it's not a retail value item. So it's a
They
much
can care
higher
less.
ROI for them. Exactly.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's a hugely high leverage way of doing it. And when so many of the designers, especially when you're dealing with that sort of a marketplace, you want a large number of people creating models so that you're not fully dependent on a single designer. And a large number of people are independent 3D printer guys who have CAD on the back end and they just have a spare weekend. So they're like, sure, yeah, I'll trade the file for
Yeah.
$10 a filament. Who cares? But that doesn't, like you say, it does not create professionals. It'll create a group of people. But yes, you can't have anybody who makes their living creating files, which is so necessary to create really good files. Because the guys
Yeah.
trading it for just the filament is something they designed in the weekend. It sort of works. It's like it works on my machine, but it won't work on anybody else's or anywhere else in the world. It's really finicky. Good, robust, well-designed products take a lot
Yeah.
of effort to do. But
Take a
yeah,
lot of effort to do.
what's
A lot
your
of-
additional take on
we were
that?
talking. I was doing this piece of content the other day where I was talking about the process of STLFlix and like how many times we print the same stuff before we consider it a ready file, right? And that per se is like perhaps you will use an entire roll of filament in order to get to the perfect design. And if you're gonna trade it for one spool of filament, like what are you getting off of it? Nothing. Like nothing. You're just putting your
Exactly.
work for free. But I get it. Like
Exactly.
for the designers that are starting it out, it's a good way of getting visibility. But then Maker World itself does not allow you to refer to any other websites. So I wonder what's the idea when you're growing inside Maker World, how you're striking. Like when we were growing inside Coats, like what I told you in the beginning of the story. Like Coats allows you to put the link of your personal subscription that the person can click to if they like your work. They allow you to DM the person with a link telling you, hey, I'm glad you like this. There's the place where you can purchase my subscription or other files that I sell. And then MakerWorld only allows you to sell. You can sell which is kind of like weird. I haven't really understand what it is, but you can sell like the commercial subscription, but then the file
Oh, yeah.
needs to be listed for free, which for me is like really, I do believe in honesty, but it's like believing too much in honesty, in my opinion.
Yes. Yes.
That you really have to do that in order to have your subscription available over there.
Yes. Oh yeah, the Maker World. I don't know how anybody plans to make a living or career on Maker World because they're so far away from any sort of viable business model for a designer who's a professional designer. That
Yeah.
it's amazing. I think what Maker World has been able to do is that since Bamboo's gotten access to so many people who previously were not in 3D printing, who don't have the history with it, to where they're like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, there's things and Patreon and all the rest of it. They're just like, well, I'll stay in ecosystem because my Bamboo files work on Maker World, we share them around, and that seems like a direction to roll. And I'm an industrial designer who started getting involved with 3D printing here recently because now it's handier. So they just kind of fall into it as opposed to shopping it around.
And they've completely hacked it was super smart the way they did it, because they
Oh, yeah.
hacked the SEO logic. Because like people, they don't Google STL for free download anymore, because
Nope.
it's in the Handy app, and you don't go through the process of going online to find out the files are actually available on other places with other
Yes.
formats. So it was
Yes.
very smart the way they did it. It was very, very smart.
Oh,
This is why
Bamboo
they're
is
ahead of the game
fantastic.
completely. Yeah,
They're very ahead of the game. But yeah, whatever your opinion may be about Bamboo on any other stuff or something, they are a fantastic product and marketing organization
absolutely,
from top to
absolutely.
bottom. It's so impressive to see them.
Hmm.
Uh, but anyhow, back to STL Flix. How big is your team right now? How many folks you got around?
We have around 110 people in the entire company,
Congratulations. That's awesome.
and
In
that
3 years.
3 years. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very proud. I honestly like. If I look back, I don't think I've ever imagined it would be this size. Like when I had the idea.
Really?
Well, the 3D printing space changed a lot since we started, right? It's a lot bigger and
Us.
a lot, and because of Bamboo. So Bamboo also helped us quite a bit in expanding this universe and having more people in. And I don't think the business would have this size like 3 years ago. Absolutely not. Um, but yeah, we are 110 people right now. It's something that we are very, very proud and very happy when we
That's
look at
awesome.
it and see the entire infrastructure working. It's so cool.
That's awesome, dude. Congratulations. When
Thanks.
uh, when you guys were first getting started with you had the organic reach of like cults and sharing models that way in order to let people know that you have this model platform over here, and then you were doing also Facebook ads. What was like
Mhm.
the distribution of user acquisition from those two different channels of paid ads versus the organic?
The
How many
first three
came from
months was
organic? How
very
many came from paid?
organic. The
Okay.
first 3 months were very organic, but in non-usual channels. So it was not our Instagram was not popular. We did not have a TikTok. It was organic from within the community. So it was like
Mm.
Discord group, Facebook groups, which is something that I think like when you do a community business, like you gotta be inside the community in a way to kind of like understand what people are talking about, where they are hanging, and there are 3D printing discords that are huge. There are 3D printing Facebook groups that are huge, and this is a big
Mhm.
audience as well. Like
Mhm.
it's not like you're going to come in and promote your product because the majority of them just don't allow you to do that like that.
Mhm.
You gotta be like an active member of that community. But it's a big opportunity. Like if even for someone that is working with a 3D printer for profit and perhaps he's doing I don't know studio accessories. There are like a lot of communities talking about studio accessories that you could be pushing your product, you're selling, and I think that's a very smart idea because in the end of the day, like the cost of acquisition is the most expensive thing for the majority of the businesses.
Mm.
This is why social media companies are so big because you need to invest a lot in order to sell, right? Regardless of what you sell, is it digital or physical? So
Oh, for
it
sure.
was distributed. It was more for the first 3 months it was more organic through the communities, and then when the ads started to click in, because it also takes a while for the pixel to understand what you're selling, who you're selling to, who purchases, who doesn't, for you to populate your pixel really well, and then after a
Mm.
while it got much bigger on the the paid ads than the social. In
How
Brazil, we have a very good organic channel because we have two influencers in house in here. They are big influencers here in Brazil.
nice.
Um, our academy in Brazil is also very well. We were able to sell better our courses here in Brazil, even though they're exact same courses. But in Brazil, our organic channels are bigger and work better than globally.
That's fair. With the Facebook
Yeah.
ads, it always varies by industry, but how long did it take your pixel to age in?
I guess it was to start to perform. I guess it was like those initial 3 months,
Yep.
spending like reasonably okay. Obviously, you do need to like feel that there will be traction at one point. So you need to.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
did this class once about digital marketing, and in the way he explained, it was very good, because it's all a statistics game. So sometimes we're very driven for the purchase, which is like the last one. It's going to hard for those numbers in the purchase to be coherent with the statistics. So you gotta go back in the funnel, right? Okay, so what's your CTR? What's your website view? What's your add to cart? And then what's your purchase? And then if
Hmm.
you start seeing backwards, right? Like okay, this ad is bringing a lot of people to the website. all right, so there's something here that it will work, it works. And you can also look at the things that are related to each one of these steps, like how's my landing page, how's my checkout process, is everything working coherently as well? Because sometimes we like very driven about the campaigns and all of that, when we are not looking at the entire process that the customer has to go through. In the end of the day, we're all users, right? We kind of can diagnose a little bit what might be happening, but you gotta look
universal
statistically where you have more data.
Right. You look at where you have more data, but also just where the start of the process is, and then you start optimizing down. Everybody always thinks it's an optimization around the purchase, and it's not. It's up here. We do the same thing with like our YouTube channel.
And there are ads that bring people to the website, and these people don't purchase, and that ad is not performing well. But it will take a while for you to discover that.
Exactly. Or your website is absolutely garbage or something along those lines. And you have to make a decision of those two things.
Yeah.
When we do it for like YouTube, we're like, okay, thumbnail. Did we get a click-through rate above 7%? If not, the thumbnail was garbage. But then, okay, we got thumbnail, people are coming through, but they're not finishing the video. First 15 seconds of the edit of the video. And then on and on and on down the thing to just try to keep people led along the whole way. And it applies to everything.
Just explained me something that I was not aware of, because I'm trying to build the STLFlix YouTube channel, and sometimes we hit it, sometimes we don't. But I've never made the analogy with the ads. I think I was.
No, it's exactly the same. Here's the whole secret of YouTube. 7.5% click-through rate on the thumbnail minimum. Otherwise, the video will never hit. And then you need
7.8%.
7.5%. Plus or minus, whatever it is. And then in the first 30 seconds, you need a 70% retention rate.
Retention.
Yes, for the first 30 seconds. And that first and you basically break that 30 seconds into 3 seconds, 7 seconds, 15 seconds, and then 30 seconds. At each one of those intervals, you need a reason for the person to stay around. Otherwise, they'll leave. So you're like, okay, intro, first 3 seconds.
I'll have to rewatch this podcast later to write this down.
I know, right? Watch Colin and Samir. They're the ones to hit on all this stuff. They're the gurus on it all. I steal everybody's ideas for that kind of stuff. But yeah, the YouTube is all about, did people monkey brain click on your thumbnail, and then do you keep that connected all the way through the video and keep on reminding them why they're still there?
That's interesting. That's a very interesting take.
Yes. But yeah,
and when you do something like very processed, like when you do like a tutorial, for instance, you gotta go through the tutorial. What do you do?
Tutorials are great because tutorials have a story and an expectation set up. Like, I'm going to show you 5 ways to design a hinge. A person's like, okay, there's 5 ways, so there's a need to complete. They're like, okay, I'm at 1, now we're going to 2, and then 3. So they know where they're going, and they know where the end is.
Keep them in the loop.
You keep them in the loop. So, like, tutorials are really good for retaining people because they just naturally fall into that format, as opposed to, like, being an entertainer. What is entertaining? I have no idea, and we've never been able to crack that one. But what is educational, it's very easy to say in 3 seconds, I'm going to show you how to design 5 hinges. Great. I know why I'm here. I know what's happening. And on the first hinge, we're going to see that one, and so on and so forth. And you can kind of restructure it to be like, the 4th hinge is a really amazing one. And then people have a reason to wait through. So there's all these ways of kind of structuring it to make it better. And then, again, as you get it all together, you're like, okay, I made that video did pretty well. Then there's all the weirdness of YouTube, of like you have to be consistent so that YouTube knows what you're doing. And then you also can't hit the same type of video too often because your audience gets fatigue. Like, we had a video 6 weeks ago that got 150,000 views, and then we made the version 2 of that video, the follow-up, and it did like 20,000 because we made it too close to that original.
High number for me.
That's fair. No, like, here's the thing though. Like, people do overrate view counts on YouTube because, like, imagine being in a room with 100 people. If your YouTube video got 100 views, you just talked to 100 people. And for a long form video, that is really, really valuable. Yeah. Because 100 people listened to you for 5 minutes. That's impossible to get done on the planet right now.
It's super hard. Super hard.
Yeah. So people get in their head about the view count because it's not, that's not the point. What I always give as like advice to businesses who are trying to grow it is, number 1, start with tutorials, because even if they don't get views, they're still useful for your business. every one of your users has the FAQ.
Video, the pricing calculator video it's now with 6,000 views, which for me is very high.
Yeah.
It's one of the highest in the channel. And then the second one, the first one, is how to reduce the purge waste on the bamboo by changing the extrusion multiplier. That one
I'm surprised that's the second one.
That's the first one. That's the first one.
Oh, the extrusion purging is the first one?
Yeah.
How many does it have?
I gotta look into it, but around like 20,000, I think.
That sounds about right. Yes, purging is a huge topic on all these things. I'll bet there's if you can share your screen. That's a podcast. We probably shouldn't do this. You can share your screen. There should be a way to share your screen. But yeah, we could do a thumbnail review for you right here. This would be fun.
Let's do it.
Because I'll bet I could fix this for you.
How do I share my? There it is. Screen. Entire screen. There you go. So I was looking. Now the first one is actually Ender 3v3 versus Bamboo Lab S1. Which one should you pick? And
Okay.
it has 22,000. It's in Portuguese.
Okay.
Then the multicolor has 21.
Okay.
Then there's the follow up of this one, and this one is actually a better tutorial than this one, and it has 17.
Okay.
Then I talked about the Quiddy, the one that catches fire, and the video went out the same week that everything happened, so it got views because of that. And the 3D printing cost is actually, is it this one? No, this was the first version that I did. And now I have, where's the pricing calculator? Wait, let me get you off of it.
That's fair.
I don't know. It was one of the latest that we released. We're going more recent.
That's okay. Let's go back to the main one there.
There you go. 7,000. I don't know why I couldn't find it there. No, that's the one. 2.4. No, that's not the one. Where is it? There you go. The real cost of 3D printing, 6,000.
Oh, that's pull away from it there. Let me see the thumbnail real fast. Oh, interesting. That's actually a really good thumbnail. I like that thumbnail quite a bit.
Yeah.
But you are dealing with a weird thing of like it's tough to do those types of videos. Like we have this problem with ours when you're talking about making money or anything else. That's a really abstract thing to communicate in a thumbnail outside of $sign and dollars all around.
Yeah.
But okay, that one's ramping. That's good.
Let me see. Yeah, it's getting better. It's getting better.
Yeah. It's getting shown around.
How do I see there you go. No, this is the fridge magnets. I hated it. There's a lot of the stuff that we do for inside STLFlix.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, we have a ton of those internal videos too, just for teams.
But look,
nice.
This one is way above the average.
This one's evergreen too. It's going to trend like that forever. So it'll probably hit, I'll bet it'll hit about 30 or 40,000 views before it maybe levels out ever. But literally, if you just stuck this on the website and had it shared around a few more times, it'd be a solid video. Yeah, it'd be a solid video. But if you want to go back to one of those,
the retention is very very low. Maybe my intro is not good.
Are you doing these in English or Portuguese?
English.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right. So you're good on that.
Accent issue as well.
Oh, that's not a problem. The accent doesn't do anything. But I just wanted to make sure that you weren't just localized just to Brazil or anything like that. Yeah, the accent's not a problem. You're fine.
No.
Go ahead and play the video real quick.
Let's see.
I'll give you.
I don't think you'll be able to hear the audio.
I won't. All right, that's fine. I'll watch it later or something. Get you feedback on the first 30 seconds. But that looks like a good edit on the intro.
Yeah, our editing team's really good.
Oh, nice.
I think it's getting. We're the very good editing team.
Yeah. Go to your most popular video. Let's look at the stats on that. That'd be hilarious.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Views. But then we have the reels, which don't count. Then some ads.
Those are solid reels, though, at 100,000 views.
Yeah, it's easier. This is the best video.
Okay.
All the way up.
Okay.
This one has very good retention.
It does. And
60%.
throughout, too. 60%. You do want to get up to the 7.0 there, but like But it's good and flat. You do like it when it's flat like that because it's like everybody's staying for the full video. So the people who are watching this really, really like it when they get to it. So it's good. That's a really good indicator that you have a core audience who is watching the channel on the regular. So that's great. Let's see here. Thumbnail. The thumbnail's a little bit busy. Right now, yeah, the thumbnail's not bad though.
Which should you
Interesting.
pick? It's very straightforward.
Say again? Yeah.
No, it's pretty straightforward, right? Which should you pick?
Generally,
There's no.
I'll let you know a secret. Like internally, we used to do the thumbnails with the face on the thumbnail all the time. And my team came back to me and said, Gabe, when you're on the thumbnail, it doesn't help the videos. It doesn't help click-through rate at all. I was like, that's fine, cool, get rid of it. But
I guess we could do the same in here. No, but like
you could. The thing is that
the other video that I showed you doesn't have me.
Yes, it talks about 3D printing. Since you're early in YouTube, nobody identifies you as the brand of the channel, especially if you have two hosts. So if they see the thumbnail, it looks like every other new YouTube channel thumbnail that's putting a face in there, and there's no value to it. So when you're starting out the YouTube channel, you really want to focus on the topic of the video, and anything that's not about the topic of the video shouldn't be in the thumbnail. So the host is not the topic of the video. They don't have any brand recognition, and they don't have they don't add any reason to click on the video. They're just taking up real estate on that thumbnail. So I'll bet if I was refining that other thumbnail, I would take the two machines, simplify the background, and get them as large as you could with big, bold text naming the machine so a person doesn't have to read the title to know what the video is about. It's just like Ender versus whatever. And then that would probably increase the click-through rate on that video. Because yes, the host doesn't need to be there. They have nothing to do with whether this machine is better than that machine. So they don't need to be there taking up the real estate. That'd be my first nitpick on it all. But how many videos have you guys done on the YouTube so far?
Do you know where I see that?
Should be account. Actually, it's probably on the main channel page. How many uploads?
This is all in Portuguese. Well, we have 21,000. It's growing actually.
21,000 subs is solid. Any channel with 20,000 subs is solid. You guys have been pushing on this for how long?
Not long, really. Like since perhaps like the end of last year. Like frequency, I would say like 3 or 4 months.
Oh, okay.
With good frequency.
Okay, yeah. You guys are right on trend then, because that's about how fast it took us to get to 20,000. About 3 to 4 months to get to 20,000.
I don't even post on YouTube anymore, like because I used to post. Do you do that?
The live post, the text post, they don't do anything.
Yeah.
No offense to our community, but we talk to them at other places that are way better. The actual written post, I don't know what they're for. I honestly don't.
Because I kind of follow the posts of like some people that I like to follow.
Oh really?
But
okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
No,
I mean if I'm like
they don't
especially on mobile, like if I'm on mobile and the post comes up.
That's better.
But I'm not like a big consumer of YouTube on mobile. I'll use it more on my computer or TV.
Oh, you're an old guy like me. I do the same thing. It's all desktop use and that kind of stuff. But no, your guys' trends and stats are going in the right direction. And yeah, 20,000 subs is totally solid. The subs count doesn't matter because subs does not impact your views at all anymore. You can get 1 million views with 0 subs, and you can get 10 views with 500,000 subs. So
well, when I look at the origin of our videos, the majority of them, like they have the
oh really?
They come from like the home screen, which I guess is.
Oh no, that's just suggested. It still doesn't have anything to do with subs. But that goes back to like that retention graph. The fact that your core group of people are watching your full videos means that YouTube will show them your next video. So you guys have a really good solid following.
Research.
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
It makes sense.
That's fair. Yeah, you have a core audience who really likes your stuff, and that's the most important part. People who want to be there for you, who will be the core fans. And then it'll expand from there as you start to figure out what has a broader and broader audience. We've been kind of hamstrung here at the the 200,000 subs or so, because we haven't figured out how to break out beyond 3D printing. Pretty much everybody inside of 3D printing who consumes content has seen one of our videos. But now we can't get to the rest of the world. But anyhow.
No, yeah. But your like business oriented content is really good.
Oh, thank you. I wish we could get views on that. Yeah, we're building the second channel. The average view count on one of those videos is like 500 to 1,000 views. So it's not even good.
You're trying to separate a little bit the style of content on different channels.
There is.
But why?
Yeah. Because the business content on the core Slant 3D channel doesn't improve it. So right now we've gone, the Slant 3D channel, when we talked to the team about it of like what videos can go over there, the Slant 3D channel is product design, it's design. It's creation of good, robust parts. Like put chamfer on the first layer, blah, 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 those kind of things. Mm-hmm. And then the podcast. So the podcast goes on core channel, but those two pieces of content are so separate that YouTube knows who the podcast goes to and it knows who those core videos go to. But if we introduce a third video that's like how to grow your 3D printing business, neither one of those two audiences want to watch that.
That's
so
crazy.
we've put it onto a separate channel to where we can focus on entrepreneurial 3D printing. So that it can just niche that direction, and then we can ramp up content over there. Because the team gets at me all this time. I am a quantity over quality person because I think that quality comes from just doing the reps. I think that
I completely agree with you. I am 100% on board with that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Get it
I
out
prefer
there.
like to do like a random video every month, every week.
Yeah.
Than like super thinking the content and doing like one a month. I think that's
Yes.
I would probably be frustrated with the result, like if I put a lot of effort into it. And like by doing lots of those, like sometimes I end the video and say, hey, this is a nice video. I was not expecting too much of it. Mm-hmm. But the process is like more important.
You get to a point of intuition by just doing it a lot to where you know that the video will work and you know how to structure it just automatically. But if you go into it like being processized of like, we're going to write a script and we're going to edit it this way and there's going to be cut at 2.3 seconds and that kind of stuff, you set yourself up to fail because it starts to become really fake, and it also gets so controlled that you miss the forest for the trees. So yeah, all of our stuff is like, get it knocked out because it'll never be perfect. Move on with life. 80% is fine.
How long do you think about the script and the hook, the initial hook, and all of those things?
We'll generally do like one sheet where it's like, here's the core concept of the video. We've gotten more stringent about, we won't do a video until we have like a thumbnail for it most of the time. Because again, that's the click-through point. So if we don't have that icon of like, what will this video be,
so
we won't do the rest of the video.
That's very curious.
Yes. Not always. Like that's only something we've started recently doing over like the last 3 to 6 months because the thumbnail just informs it all. Once you have the thumbnail and the title, that becomes like the thesis of an essay. And then I can talk about that thesis.
Thumbnail.
We do. YouTube has 3 thumbnail options. We use all 3 of them every time.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
But that's kind of changing too because your first 2 hours, 12 hours of the video are the most important. That's when YouTube defines what it's going to be.
Yeah, so you maybe just put your best bet over there.
That's the thing. You're splitting those 12 hours across 3 different thumbnails so that you can lose overall views because people are seeing 3 different versions and not clicking on it.
I don't see them like changing too much, like from the 30%. I don't know. In our case, there's not a big split. Like we don't have like a clear winner every single time.
We have had clear winners. We'll have almost a 10% split between different versions of the thumbnail. Mainly because we do really very different versions of the thumbnail.
Maybe that's the thing as well.
So we won't do like the subtle variations of like title or word or no word or person and no person or something like that. We won't be that distinct.
The words, like the clickbait phrase.
That's fair. Yeah, I would imagine that doesn't have a huge impact. But you're also at lower end of views right now, so it's just tough to get the stats on it there, which is not a problem. I would say at your guys' stage, doing all the A/B testing on thumbnails is probably less important than improving a Facebook post around it or sharing it a couple more times in different places. Like there's just better places to put that labor than creating more versions of the thumbnail. even like everybody always goes to like Mr. Beast is like the example of like, oh, he's A/B testing everything and there's 1% improvement and you got to get there. And I'm like, no, you don't. He's dealing with 100 million views. 1% to him is a million views. All the
Yeah,
rest of us poor schmucks down here does not make any difference to
it
us.
wouldn't change too much.
Exactly. 1%
Yeah,
of a
he has
thousand
like
views is
all the
10 people.
features available before everybody else. So we don't
That
even
too.
know how his YouTube look like.
Oh yeah, Jimmy has incredible data on all that kind of stuff. But he's the standard that everybody follows, which was fine like 2 years ago. But now he's in a different echelon to where copying him probably isn't the best strategy for like a new YouTube channel.
No,
Uh,
not at all.
but
But I
but
like the
even
idea
within
of the
content,
tutorials. I think this is what we will be
yes,
doing more and more.
it's so easy to make something useful for your audience. That's an easy answer. Like, what is a question everybody's asking? Answer that question, and you know people will find it useful, which means that then they will like your stuff, as opposed to trying to find the hook or the trend or whatever else it was. Just do something useful. It's also evergreen. So like the Ender versus video that you have, that's going to be
Hmm.
relevant for about 4 to 6 months until the next 3D printer comes out, and
Yeah,
then the
and
video
then
views are going to fall
it's
off.
gonna change.
But if you talk about how to grow on STL Flix or how to design models, that'll be useful 10 years from now because those rules still apply. And those types of videos are
Yeah,
just worth the investment because they'll be useful over 10 years rather than a potential spike right now.
true,
Uh,
true. That's good
that was
advice.
all.
That's good advice.
That's probably one of the main rules of our channel is that I hope every video is still useful 3 years from now. And that's probably one of the reasons that we like split the channels again too. Because like business advice varies based on what the ad platform of the day is. Like how to sell with Facebook ads, how to sell with this. That'll change 3 years from now. But how to design a good
Yeah,
FDM printed part is going to be the same
that's going
into the
to
future
stay there
forever.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that technology is not going to fundamentally change in any sort of way over
No,
the next 10 years.
not at all.
Uh,
No, it's not. And the,
but
the design part is going to be very similar.
yeah, yeah, and still necessary. Uh,
It's still very
but
necessary.
anyhow, very necessary. Yeah, so that's a good lead in, actually. AI designed parts. You guys are messing with this now. Let's talk about that. Talk about
Yeah,
what you
we
got
are.
going
Well,
on, and then let's go into it.
we like it all started with this question that everybody asks, like, is AI really going to change everything in a way that businesses are going to die and new businesses are going to be born?
Hmm.
And we were starting to see people using AI to generate 3D models all the time, like in the community. As I told you, like we try to be very insightful, very inside the community, and really really like in the chat, right?
Hmm.
And very often people post like, hey, look at this, I did it with AI, and it's myself, and it's 3D printed, and it looks really good. Um, and we started to really look at how what is AI going to do for 3D printing. And one of the things that we realized is that the way the AI was offered, it was not the best one. Like it was these like very open white canvas, like which is like if you go to ChatGPT, it's gonna ask you the weirdest questions, like what are your plans for today? So it's like this really whiteboard that you go in and you have to think about something to interact with. And with chat, it's easier because you have a question. It's becoming like our standard search mode. It's easier. When you go to 3D, it's like do something. And when you are asked to do something, sometimes you have a very good idea and you know that you can go to that place and do it. But like on every other week, what is the thing that it's gonna make you go over there and do it? So we decided to tackle this 3D AI approach with the same approach that we do for STLFlix. We are going to be proposing things for people to create. And the formula is always a formula of a model that we have designed with the customization being powered by AI, which is the way that we feel it's the coolest way to do it. So STL AI is really about proposing new configurators. Every week we launch a new configurator that you can customize that end product with AI. And then you can do that for yourself as a hobby. I want to do it for my family. I want to do it as a gift, which is super cool. And you can also do that commercially. Like you could like get one of these configurators and put that as a customized product on a marketplace, or even like bring it into a maker fair and offer this as a service. because I believe personally that it's easier for you to drive more profit per printed model on a customized product, because it's more than just the plastic that you have over there and if the benefits of the product obviously, but it's also like the service of making it custom for that specific customer. So that's really good, and that's one of the things that I think is the where the technology is really bringing the barrier down. It was very hard for you to like hand sculpt the face of someone and give it as a gift, and it was always a good gift. But now with AI, you can kind of like sculpt the person's head, or like make something customized off of it that you can kind of like customize yourself, be a one-off, and you deliver the same value, but it's easier technologically to do. So I guess like the combination of AI and 3D printing, when looked at this specific angle, is very interesting, and this is what we decided to do with STL AI.
Nice. Yeah, just to clarify it a little bit more for folks. Basically, those models back behind Bruno right now, the top shelf, are some of these customized models.
To where the wine holder has my hat on it. These are fridge magnets.
Yeah. You guys have built these baseline products that then have a single modifiable feature, which is like upload a person's head or something else along those lines, to where AI enables the modeling of that complex customized item, but then the rest of the part is still manufacturable and consistent and reliable, so that you don't have the AI just and printable, so that you don't have the AI make a dragon, and it's a completely unprintable giant mess that can't be useful for anything. And then you get into that modeling hole to where it's just as much effort as it was sculpting it from scratch anyway, fixing the mess that the AI created. This is what I liked about your guys' kind of approach to this, is the fact that you created this nice solid baseline and foundation for each one of these things. And then, the AI adds on the spice to make it something special and eliminates a bunch of work while still having a nice, reliable, stable baseline. And that's what everybody kind of misses with it. And it also keeps it focused.
But it's good. It's good because then you have more control over the entire printing process as well, right? Because like this little waiter holding the wine holder, it has my hat on it, but like the arms are separate, so you can print them separately as well. Like it's all multi-part, so you can print without using the multicolor function. Then the head you would have to use the multicolor function, but it kind of it reduces the waste. It makes more streamlined, and you have the benefit of customizing through AI, which is I think kind of like what we're going after when we're trying these AI tools. So I think really the secret sauce here is about having the designers thinking about appealing products and good ideas for products, and then using the AI at the make it one-off section of it, like make this exclusive for me, and this is where the AI comes in. But then all the rest is pretty much a model that was thought out to be well printed, kind of like what we do at STLFlix. And I think it's going to take a while until the AIs really understand 3D printing, because that's not what they're focusing on. Absolutely, they're focusing on gaming. But there are benefits. There are benefits of using the 3D generated meshes on a 3D print.
I think all the model generators will start to get wise to the 3D printing, because it just hasn't had distribution for it before. But they are an enabling technology, and production of parts has come around and been available enough now to where the value of the parts will get to be more than, if you can print the part, you're not selling to just 3D printer guys, as opposed to selling a product to the rest of the world. The manufacturing infrastructure is almost there to where there's enough large print farms to where if you design a part or find an awesome model, it can now be sold to humanity rather than just selling that file to the existing 3D printing ecosystem. So you have a much higher addressable market than what you had 3 or 4 years ago. So I think that'll start to make the AI companies start to look at it a little bit more as that means of distribution becomes more common.
I guess. I think it's a good take.
You guys would have a lead in on this. What's like your distribution of commercial users to personal users?
It's 70% commercial currently.
So there you go. So there's already a bias in that direction. A product that could be sold to the rest of the world is more valuable than a product that I can use for my own personal use.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
And this is also like one way of thinking about this AI, right? It is a product that is having just that bit that is Customize makes you be able to print like several of those, keep it on the shelf, and then just print like the customized part as you go, as you sell it, and optimize
Absolutely.
the entire production.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was reading a message here. I got lost.
No, you're totally fine. I was just saying this is great. This has been a fun conversation to go from YouTube.
Yeah, it was very
Yeah,
broad.
It's fun. Yeah, I know. This is a lot of fun. Well, yeah, I wanted to talk to you about multicolor printing in FDM. How much you guys, especially in the context of commercial users, obviously you guys are leaning into multicolor with the AI models and that kind of stuff there. But how important do you think that is? Because I'm going to bet that you and I disagree on this a little bit, but I want to see.
Well, I think there are ways that you can solve in multi-part, and we do that for like I'm not gonna say a number, but I would guess that more than 90% of our files they have the multicolor option available, because we're very mindful of the commercial user. It's something that really makes it a lot more expensive, But I still think that to bring more people to our community, the multicolor was very, very important, because out of nowhere, you could, because we were kind of used to doing things with one color. And then we had the multicolor option available. And then we understood that we like multicolor products, 3D printed, but we never thought about doing them in multi-part. And then that kind of pushed the designers to think about the multi-part. And now you gotta make the multi-part option also available, like if you're a professional designer designing for 3D printing. So I think it's good to bring people to the game, and also like some hobbyist users, they really don't mind. Like they like printing multicolor and they don't care if it takes 4 days to print something. But for productivity's sake, I think it's very important to have the multi-part option available for the main models that you have. But I think like that very monocolor model that we were used to have like 2 years ago, that is gone.
Interesting, because we are going to disagree about this. Because I come at it from, I think the single color part, I think the color printing will kind of die off sort of with the personal 3D print. Well, personal 3D printers love multicolor, so that will always be there, and as printers continue to grow, personal 3D printing will continue to want it, because the efficiency of it is fine. But the multicolor parts are so unscalable from like a commercial standpoint that I'm like, I cannot make 1 million 3D printed multicolor parts in a day. And there's such a long roadmap with the current multicolor manufacturing solutions that we have to scale up to 1 million parts a day with the systems that we have right now. But I also look at it historically of like, okay, molding or anything else, we have had very reasonable products available for the last 100 years made out of plastic. How many of them were multicolor parts? How important is it? And when I look at that, I'm like, all those parts are painted, maybe stamped, maybe have a sticker. Like they get to multicolor, maybe they're multiple parts stuck together. But all injection molding and all the rest of them have always been single color. Admittedly, they can't do multicolor just as part of the process either. So maybe this is a huge secret of 3D printing that will finally be enabled that will create a new product category. But at the same time, if that is the case, then we still have another 10 or 20 years of adoption for that to happen. And again, technological change. When I think about it, obviously we run a print farm. We can't multicolor. We could not deploy multicolor to something like our product like portals, because if you have 4 spools on a machine, one of them would always be empty, so the machine would never be operating ever. So that's the reason we've always gotten into it, is that multicolor just isn't very scalable. But I totally understand why it would be, especially in your guys' case, it's a way better Instagram ad if it's a multicolored 3D print than if it's a single color vase or something like that.
And like when you scroll down our community, like even when you were looking at people post the booths that they build in maker fairs and all of that,
yes,
it has a lot of multicolor 3D printing in there. And have you sliced a file using Orca Slicer and the new Snap Maker?
The new Snap Maker? No, I haven't tried the new Snap Maker.
Do that, and I guess
really?
you'll change your mind.
They cleaned up the process of slicing those whole things?
No, the slicing is the same. It's Orca Slicer, you slice it, but the time and the waste is super.
Oh, just from the multi-head extruder and that kind of stuff. Oh, for sure. Yes.
So what
The
I
new
think
system is,
perhaps
yeah.
what you could try to think about is this is something that perhaps there's some sauce in here. Perhaps you can think
Go for
about
it.
like a central AMS that it's going to distribute to multi-tool printers.
I would be
Then you wouldn't
with
have to
you
like
on that.
change spool per printer. I don't know. I just thought
Agree
about it.
with- I think you're right about that in a certain context, but we thought about that originally with the print farm. I'm like, okay, how do I get a 2-ton spool over at this side of the building that then feeds to all the printers? um, like there is a feasibility to that. I don't agree with the multi-head machine, because when you already have 1,000 or 10,000 machines inside of a print farm, you cannot then create 40,000 extruder heads because the points of failure are just too many. Again, I think it works fine in like the consumer context, but I don't think it works in the production context, because the system,
Yeah, I guess.
the system is just too complex. The print farms have the advantage of being super redundant. If one machine goes down, whatever, we got 1,000 other ones moving on with life. But to increase the opportunity for stuff to go down, that starts to ruin the organic part of it. To where it's like, okay, I got 1,000 multi-head extruders, but they have 4 times more likelihood of failure. We just went from whatever percentage down to 4 times that percentage down. That starts to eat so far into the production capacity that it's a big problem. And when you're dealing with, we're in a weird case in like print farms because we're one of the few print farms that actually considers them like server racks. If a machine breaks, it is basically jerked out and a new one slotted in. And then that machine will go over to a separate part of the facility or something else to be reviewed and troubleshot
But
or
that's a
something
smart
like
way
that.
of doing it.
It's the only way. You cannot troubleshoot out in the lines and on the factory floor. There's just too many machines. It's just too inefficient, all the rest of it. So yeah, the machines have to be slottable fairly readily. But yeah, so it just creates a weird scenario to where I have no problem printing a part with a purple lid and a blue base and that kind of stuff. That's perfectly reasonable in order to create a better product for people that has better taste and color coordination and everything else. But multicolor in the machine, I can't get over the hump that in mass production, you have to have a single extruder and as few motors as possible, which means 3 to move in 3 directions. Otherwise, you have overcomplicated the system. Which leads me to think that the current multicolor things are just not correct. Now, if somebody got to like a HueForge thing, to where it's like we feed in white filament and the printer applies dye iteratively to that filament as it's printing, that would be viable because I could see that system being simple and clean enough to do it. But I also come back again to...
Do you remember the Sharpie approach that some people tried?
Yes.
Like a few years ago? That would have like a Sharpie in the end of the...
Exactly. That's almost okay. Like I can see that turning into something that would be useful to where, yeah, have an inkjet cartridge on the side of the printer that throws CMYK into it. But the multiple colored filaments just increases problems so catastrophically that I do know of print farms that are 100 to 200 machines that are absolutely doing multicolor all the way through. But I think they're only getting away with it. We're in another weird scenario in that we print whatever people give to us. So like if we introduce multicolor, I know that it would help us not at all, because no matter how many variations of multiple colors I have, we would never have the correct coordination or collection of colors.
Absolutely.
It'd always be a losing scenario. But if you are producing products internally for your organization, so like the people I think of are like Wiglets, who just, okay, well, we've got the Stegosaurus, which is orange and yellow. I'll load that up on all these machines, and we'll make a bajillion of them. That makes total sense if you're making kind of the same products over and over again, but they're high mix. That makes total sense to me, and I can see how that can work, because you can build a system around that layout. But if you're printing something out of the blue like we do as a service, there's almost no sustainable way to do it as a service.
Yeah, it's a very tricky situation. Very tricky.
Yeah. Because
I think they're like, when you think about like monocolor products, there are lots of them that are really, really cool. Like this one that I have right here with the marble filament. I really love it. I don't want it to be multicolor. Like I want it to be like that. Like this purse that we have released inside STL Flix. This is also monocolor.
Oh, nice.
I don't want it to be multicolor. But I
Yeah,
think like
exactly.
the the mini widget, the mini Figgly toys, and then these things, they have so much appeal.
Yes.
And well, but then I think there's a clear distinction of someone like you who's trying to build like a big print farm, and then I
Mm-hmm.
think like your big differentiator is that you can kind of tackle that production capacity that is in between the
Right.
injection molded and the
Yeah, you
like
get scale.
one-off. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like someone at home, as you said, like okay,
Yes.
I'm going to manufacture, I don't know, like 500 mini dragon toys. Then it's fine
Mm-hmm.
perhaps for me to do like 1,000 eyes on white, then 1,000 pupils on black, and then the body like separately on a different
Mm-hmm.
color, and then just glue it all together.
Mm-hmm.
But I bet that to manage all of that is incredibly hard. Like if you're doing for a client.
It turns into a huge problem on those kind of things. But
Yeah.
there,
So I think there are like different categories.
I got another thing to like throw by you. It's this is an interesting problem that I've like been tackling with the team. So like we recently released a product called Portals, which lets anybody upload a file and then it's for sale. As we've been messing with this, there's the content moderation problem of like, okay, is the file stolen or everything else? Like we got to work with you guys and all kinds of people to make sure that that stays managed. But there was a solution that we found that we're like, we could do that, but it's wrong. And the solution is like, since Portals is the Slant 3D marketplace effectively, because we're printing and shipping the item and selling it and doing all the transaction, and the designer is just uploading the file and basically getting a royalty. We could technically protect everyone by just buying the commercial license to every model that has a commercial license, and then everyone who sells that model on the platform is protected by our single commercial license. Now that is technically correct, but really wrong because it messes with all of you model designers because you just
I've
license to like
never
dozens
thought
of
about
people.
that.
But it's like this loophole. How would you suggest that we deal with this situation? Well, our solution is like we eventually want to build a catalog to where like your types of organizations and other designers can upload their files to the catalog, and then every time there's a sale of that print, you get a royalty from the sale of the print. That's the long-term fix to it all. But like the in-between fix, what would you suggest that we do? Or what are your thoughts on that, just kind of in general?
I think like if you think from like if you give a step back and you look where's the source of your products, it really needs to be something cool for the designers. And and I've seen backlashes in the design community in 3D printing. I don't know if you follow the few. I think that could backlash, and I think people, it's very, very, very easy for them to paint you as the big corp trying to screw everybody up.
Oh, absolutely. If we
And-
just did the commercial license or something like that, we would absolutely be evil.
The next tool that I'm thinking about building is a marketplace listing generator. They would help you like to put in, and then you could also like you get the numbers that you got from the calculator. I don't know. I'm thinking about that. I don't know how to do that yet, because the other one I did on Laughable, but it didn't need integration with ChatGPT, and now this one would need integration with ChatGPT. So I'm thinking about it.
Yes. Yeah. So like generation of like the product description and that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like already tells you like this product is going to take 5 days to be shipped because it's 3D printed. To kind of like
Just
help
all the
them with
details.
that and like create some cool thumbnails for the marketplaces. But I don't know. I haven't started it yet.
That's fair. Yeah, the product photography would certainly be helpful, especially if you can shove it into Dolly and say, like, here's the STL render. Create some reasonable product photos of these that just have 3D texture
We
applied
do
to
that.
them.
We
Or-
do that with
Yeah.
STLFlix. We
Yeah.
take good photos, but we also
Yes.
generate a few like in-use cases
Yes.
which are AI.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. There's no reason not to, so long as it's still being truthful about the product. Don't let it hallucinate.
Exactly.
But like, it's stupidly useful tool, especially if you have those baseline images to go from. People will fudge it, but yeah. To not use that tool is just.
But I'm curious like about how Portals is going to develop for the designers in the next years, because I think this is something that this is a good like thinking about Bruno from 2018. This would probably be something that I would be interested in doing. You know, like me being in Brazil, and like being able to access the American market with products that it would be very hard for me to do it otherwise. I think it brings a lot of benefit for the design community.
That was one of the biggest ones that we ran into, because when we did teleport first, which I plugged into an Etsy store, and the main thing I heard about from people was like, I don't want to start an Etsy store, I want to do customer support, I don't want to run a 3D printing business on the side. And we're like, oh, it's all the designer wants to design, which is totally fine. They're creative, they want to create awesome files. So we're like, okay, how do we make that possible? Well, they just got to submit the file, and then that's it. And it's like, okay, so we need to do sales tax, we need to do distribution, the printing, shipping, we need to do the customer support and return processing. So we built all of that into portals. And then we also had run into the issue of like really good designers who are in India or Brazil or wherever else it was, who like can't create an Etsy store because whatever the problem with Etsy is that week. And we're just like, okay, fine, we're just going to take all of the responsibility for sale of this stuff, from liability of the products and everything else and so on and so forth, so that people can just submit a file and now it's for sale. And then we'll deal with whatever comes from that. But it allows people to actually create real products really quickly. And that was so exciting to me, because like whenever I think about these products, I'm like, okay, how can a kid in Africa who's got a laptop and Tinkercad sell something to a woman in New York? And I'm like, okay, we've gotten there now. If he can just create the model, or wrangle an AI to help create the model, or use your tools or whatever it is to create a model that is useful, we will take care of all the other infrastructure of payments and shipping and manufacturing, so that people can create awesome models. Because I came from software development and that kind of stuff too, because it was always frustrating to me that I could build an app in a weekend that would be $1 billion, but I could never create an object in a weekend that could sell $1 million. But now we're really close to that, because
absolutely.
you can do that, and then if you make your model and make some reasonable TikToks about it, it can break loose in a couple days of like solve a problem, demonstrate it on video, and anybody who has that problem will probably see it, because that's just how the internet works right now, which is stupidly exciting.
Scott Jones, I think that's his name, the one that guy that created he talked about how like all the struggles he went through to put his product in the market. That's like your best ad right there.
That it almost is. But Scott's like an interesting scenario too, around like product and that kind of thing too, because he had the problem with people ripping off his design and running with it. But his design is also Dieter Rob's design. So
it's inspired.
It's inspired, exactly. It's sort of funny in that scenario too, of like 3D printing creates this weird scenario where like what is inspiration and what is creation?
What's ownership, right? Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. Like we created the first pass-throughs, like everybody. Yeah. And now it's a huge thing. Like a lot of people sell pass-throughs. There are entire profiles on cults on Maker Lab that people they only do pass-throughs. And it's like we've never claimed authorship of it, but like it's how much can you claim authorship of something else? But I've seen people debating, this hinge or this ball joint was designed. Okay, man, but like it seems like we're in this like constant evolution where people are iterating from each other's designs, which I guess there are the copy space, or like you're getting the exact same file, or you're getting something that is patent, or this hinge is patent. Like there's nothing you can do there. But like there's like this weird space where if you iterate on something that is not patent, then it's basically open source file, right? Open source situation. But it's tricky. Like where does authorship ends and where does it begins? Like we try to avoid that discussion as well.
I think it's just speed of execution, because I go back to like software. Like the first one to build the software will get there. Everybody kind of knows where it's going. But now physical items move in that direction. And since physical items are all coming from, I had a patent and I designed it and I held it for 20 years, and now we're moving into this kind of digital world of physical items, you're like, no, you have control so long as people recognize you as the brand, or you get distribution of it and get it sold. Otherwise, it's just an idea.
Yeah.
which is a weird transition to go through, especially where we're coming from, because we're coming from a very slow-moving sort of a world into a very fast-moving sort of a world.
Yeah,
And
it,
like in
that,
software, yeah,
it was still slow moving on the physical product, right?
right,
Like the barrier to launch a new product was like
yeah,
super huge,
on
super
cost per
expensive
mold.
for you to invest on injection molding and all that and distribution.
Yes.
And now I guess we're starting this new phase where it's going to be easy to put physical products in the world as well. It's just
Yes.
the cost of
Oh,
printing.
stupidly. It's just
Yeah.
the cost of printing. And you don't even have that cost until somebody actually buys it. So, like,
Yeah.
it's zero
Yeah.
to create
Yeah.
the object, which is really cool for all of us who like creating stuff.
Yeah.
But yes, if you can't get tied. Slant 3D has never filed a patent, and I don't think we ever will, because I don't know what
Oh,
the
really?
value of it is. Yeah, I don't know what it is, because I'm like, okay, fine, I get the patent, but now I have to go sue people to enforce it. So why do I want this job? It's not defensive. It doesn't protect me. All I can do is use it as a sword and just turn into a bad guy at some point, going after people. So I'm like,
Yeah.
there's nothing good that comes from it, and if people want to rip it off, they can rip it off until I want to go after them. Which just means that why am I being so slow and so weak that I can't create the better version of my own idea anyway, if I truly invented the idea? So I don't know what the utility of patents is anymore. And a patent certainly is not useful for 20 years. If I invented the microchip, somebody would have gotten around it in like 18 months anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, that's true.
Uh,
That's true.
I don't
never
know.
thought about that in that way. I always thought like I think, well, for industrial design specifically, like there is the
Oh, the design patents?
patent, which is different than the utility patent, right? It's like
Yes.
people cannot rip off like Mickey Mouse or
Yes.
characters, and I
Like
think
the
that kind of protects the author in a way, like being the designer on the other side of things. I think sometimes
This
it's
is the
useful
weird
for you to do that.
But yeah, this like turns physical products
haven't.
from inventions
We filed
into
one patent
designs.
STL Flix only.
Oh really? What was the patent? Do you know?
It was
Do you remember?
it was the ball joint for the AI. It was the only thing.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Like yeah, that's sort of important to continue to have those other items.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was mainly,
The-
mainly because we did not want to, like, perhaps have a competitor that could come
Yeah.
in and make compatible with everything that we did already. So I was,
Oh yes. Oh, you're creating a walled garden. Not good.
because
No,
it would
that
be
makes
easy for
total
us
sense.
to do that.
Yes,
What?
when it's really critical to like core function of your product, that makes total sense. Especially when it's not
Yeah.
something that you can keep secret. Like for us, the one benefit that we have from like intellectual property protection is that all of our stuff stays in our factory. People receive a printed part or they upload a file, and the in between is invisible. So like whatever
Yeah,
design
yeah.
we do on machinery or software or anything else, that's effectively a trade secret. So I do believe in trade secrets.
Yeah.
Because they're actually protectable, whereas patenting it is publishing your trade secrets. But for
Yeah.
like you, where you're making this very prominent and forward type of an item, a patent makes a lot
Yeah.
more sense than it does for like us.
And we have the
so
toolkit
yeah.
available for the creators. Right? So if whoever wants to create a model that is STL compatible, that is compatible with the head, they can. So
Yes.
like you have this designer and he wants to create, I don't know, a dragon that you can customize the head, then he can plug it in over there.
Yeah.
So it's also
Yeah.
public. It's also available. So,
Yes. Everybody who needs it can get a hold of it, but you have
Exactly.
a tool against bad actors, which is useful to have.
Yeah.
Yes. It's good to have, having all of these strings for containing the bad actors or pirates and all the rest of it are important to have to just make sure that it's wrangled. But anyhow. All right, well, now I'm running out of time because I do have a meeting here in like 5 minutes or so. But, so I'll let you go. But this was awesome,
All right,
Bruno.
man, thank you
so
very
coming
much
on.
for the talk, man. It was awesome. It was very, very, very
Yeah.
good.
This was
And
a lot of fun.
it's cool to... Go ahead.
If you're interested in coming back around, I'd love to do this like every 3 or 4 months or something like that, because this is just this
Yeah.
is just fun to catch up on stuff and trade ideas back and forth.
That's cool, and we're like in different,
Yes.
very different situations within the same community, which is kind of cool to like debate
Exactly.
views.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the production and the design and that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
but still working with the same group. This is fun. Well, cool. Well, I'll turn you loose there, but yeah, I know I said that like this would probably go out like November or December. I think we'll probably publish it sooner than that because it's more useful for you guys, and it's also, I don't think we'll need to do an edit on this, but this is also just topics that are really interesting for everybody too. So we'll probably turn it loose a little bit sooner. I would say maybe like mid-October or something like that is when it will
Awesome.
go
Let me know.
out.
Let me know when we'll post on our social media.
Absolutely. Totally. Sounds good. Yeah, because this was a lot of fun. And I think everybody will have a lot of fun watching it. So yeah, this will be good.
Cool.
But cool. All right, well, I'll let you get back to work. But
All right,
yeah,
thank you very
talking to
much, man, for the interview, for everything. It was a very cool, and for the YouTube mentorship as well.
No problem.
Changes,
Oh, yeah.
I'll say, yeah, it was Gabe that taught me how to do YouTube.
That's fair. Well, yeah. Yeah, if you have any questions about that, I'm happy to get on a call sometime and dig into it more or something like that. Because, yeah, it's there. We just need to do a video about it one of these days, and we'll send that over to you. We'll put it over on the other channel because a bunch of people have this problem.
No, I'll put your tips in motion in here, and then 30 days from now, I'll say,
Yeah.
hey, this is what worked, and this is what didn't work.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and update your terms of service there so that we can't get
I will.
around. Just download
Thank
your
you for the
code.
heads up.
Perfect. All right, well, I'll see you later, Bruno. Have a good one.
See you, man. Bye-bye.